Hi, good evening, judges. We are Team Earth C-137, and our selected planet to colonize is Mars. And our mission is called Mission Galilei, named after Galileo Galilei, who first discovered Mars through his telescope. And the contents will be selection of habitable celestial body and building necessary infrastructure for habitat, which will be our primary domain. And we have actually proposed a design for a single habitat with our ideas and knowledge we got from this project, and sources of food and water, harvest energy from suitable sources. So for the first topic, selection of celestial body. So the word colonize implies that humans wanted to live there for a long time. No other exoplanets or moons other than Mars is suitable for colonizing. And Mars is the nearest habitable planet to Earth and has an Earth-like conditions. It is believed that there is Earth-like conditions on the Mars uh, previously. And there are many studies and experiments going on about Mars, and it is very likely that the first planet humans will ever colonize will be Mars. And Mars will become the stepping stone for humanity to beyond. And Mars has at 24.5 hour days, 144 trillion square meters of land area, which is roughly equivalent to the land area of Earth. And the Martian surface temperature can reach up to maximum of 20 degrees Celsius at the equator in summer, and a minimum of minus 125 degrees Celsius, 125 degrees Celsius. And that's cold, but it's better than any of our options in the near future. And Mars has a little atmosphere, but we can make there more by terraforming. Basically, it's farther away, but it's a place to live for humans and our technology. Mars actually has 4 trillions of water that is just frozen. It's the most necessary for a human life to thrive on another planet, and can produce oxygen, and we can produce oxygen from water and atmosphere with the help of technologies. With the help of technology. And there is rare and valuable metal are abundant on Mars. For example, deuterium, which is 5 times more abundant on Mars than off the Earth. And it is a fuel of choice if we ever achieve fusion as an influence source of fuel. And gravity is less than of Earth, and it is 2.4 times less than of Earth on Mars. And this will help us to have missions to rocket missions to asteroid belts looking for resources. And supporting in the asteroid belt is likely how a planetary colony would become economically viable. And protection from radiation is very easy, as it is very easiest way to shelter from radiation on Mars, and it would only take a foot of Martian soil on top of any building. It is easier than any other planet or moons where we need extra materials for protecting us from radiations. And the very next point is the surface conditions and water found on Mars make it easy, the most suitable habitable planet on the entire solar system. And a well-developed Martian colony can support another planet colonization. A well-developed Martian colony, particularly which supports mining in the asteroid belt, would be able to provide the infrastructure and resources needed for colonizing another planet in a most cost-efficient way than ever. There are many studies and experiments going on Mars, and it is very likely the very first planet we will ever colonize will be Mars. And it is easier to gather and store resources on Mars than any other planets or moons that thought to be habitable. And this characteristics makes the colonies grow. And Mars is a low-hanging fruit, and it is the easiest stepping stone we have. And Mars is the gateway to the universe. And Mars is okay, but what next could be amazing. So the very next point is building necessary infrastructure for habitat, which is our primary domain, and we have studied very great deal about it. And a suitable infrastructure for human habitat on planet Mars includes life support system, material processing, generation of raw materials, transportation, communication, waste management, etc. And a habitat should include restrooms that will work on microgravity, bedrooms, and personal spaces, recreational rooms, food and eating rooms, communication area, science area, labs, etc. And the major components of habitat atmosphere is likely to be carbon dioxide, argon, nitrogen, oxygen, and some water vapor. And there should be temporary and permanent habitat creation. The temporary habitat creation is for the time being of creating a permanent habitat creation. And temporary habitat creation. A Mars habitat is a place that humans can live on Mars, and we can create a temporary living conditions on Mars for scientific experiments and for creating long-term living conditions. The temporary Mars habitat can be created by XI2 materials as a starting point that was exported from Earth. And Mars has an extreme condition with low pressure, no oxygen, extreme temperature condition. It has also less gravity than Earth. A short stay on Mars does not require habitat to have a large volume or complete shielding from radiation, because exposing to temporary radiation will not be that harmful for a short stay. And the temporary habitat can be a spaceship on the orbit or a spaceship or on parked mode on surface for the time duration of creating permanent habitat. And a short visit to spaceship from the orbit can help in creating living condition, and it will be without help sabotaging the scientists and engineers involved in the habitat creation. During the stay in temporary habitat, humans should start the mining process with the help of robots and machinery. It will help us to find the insight to raw materials, which will be helpful in developing the permanent habitat. And then comes 3D printing and additive manufacturing, which can be used for developing the temporary living conditions also, and it will be helpful for creating the equipments and technology needed for early stages of Martian colony. And permanent habitat creation. A long-term permanent habitat requires much more volume and thick shielding to minimize the annual dose of radiation received by the humans. This type of habitat is very large and heavy to send to Mars, and must be constructed on Mars with the help of local resources. And our proposed habitat should be created underground so as to protect the residents from the harmful solar radiation and meteorites. It is a system of underground habitats which can be created combining mining and 3D printing technology. Underground breeding conditions may be the best solution in the Mars habitat with today's technology. And such mining could expose water and other minerals under the surface. The humans require a pressurized environment at all time to protect it from the toxic Martian atmosphere. And connecting the atmosphere is connecting the habitat is useful because moving to different structures require pressure suit or perhaps Mars rover. And the most of the colony will be underground, and the above parts will be for gathering energy from sun and also for recreation. And it will be also have a protective feature against micrometeors. And the very next point is robots for creation of habitat creation. Robots can be sent for mapping of the Mars and possible habitable zone, and can be used for mining and creation of Mars habitable condition long before humans arrive. And the underground mining robots are very useful for creating habitat in the underground and mining of the raw materials from the Mars. There are plentiful of minerals available on Mars, including iron, titanium, nickel, etc. And silicon dioxide is the most common material on the Mars, and according to the measurements taken by Viking space probe. And it is a very basic ingredient of glass. These materials can act as a building material for the future Mars society. And sending a mining robot to Mars happen to be the cheapest and also the safest way we can create habitat for humans. Caves and lava tubes can act as a possible starting point. Caves and it is formed due to the volcanic activities and can be act as a starting point because it has a comparatively high temperature than the surface of the Mars. And large 3D printing facilities can be assembled on Mars and can be used for habitat creation. This Mars exploration robot has to be sent long before the humans arrive to correctly map the Martian surface and to find the possible mining places and possible places for underground habitat creation. The very next topic is material processing plant, or we call as factories. The material processing lab is a must for Mars colony to self-sustain. There are plenty of raw materials on Mars, both on the surface and underground. For example, regolith, also known as Mars concrete. It is the material readily available in the Mars for the Mars habitat creation. It is a pulverized dusty rock that is mostly silicon dioxide and ferric dioxide. and it has been deposited over the Mars by asteroid collision over a billion of years. Researchers think that it could be a viable solution, alternative for concrete, and it can be a primary building block for Mars habitat and for structures we are building there. For structures we are building there. And mining of silicon. Mining of silicon can used to fabricate solar material, and it could create the necessary energy for a Mars habitat. Then come the terms biodomes. Biodomes, the primary habitat we propose will be underground, and biodomes act as a place for agriculture and recreation. Biodomes is a structure of life, and it could hold life by generating needed oxygen and food for humans. Oxygen creating bacteria can be used in the biodomes to convert Mars ice into oxygen. To convert the entirety of Mars into a biodome directly, scientists have proposed a bacteria named cyanobacteria brucosidiopsis, and it will help in converting the regolith into an organic element, and which will be helpful for the initial creation of soil needed for plant growing in the biodomes. And then comes air and water. The Mars 2020 mission Perseverance include a device named MOXIE, also known as Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment. And this experiment investigated the creation of oxygen on Mars surface. And on April 2021, MOXIE produced oxygen from carbon dioxide in the Martian atmosphere by using solid oxide electrolysis. It was the first experimental extraction of oxygen from Mars surface. And this technology can be used for necessary oxygen creation in the planet Mars. This could be scaled up to use the human need in Mars colonies. Water can also be created combining the oxygen and hydrogen. And tools like MOXIE has to be sent to Mars long before human settlement and can be used for creating and storing oxygen and water for human exploration and settlement. This oxygen can also be used for making the oxidizer needed for the rocket fuel that we are planning to have to the nearby asteroid belt. And researchers found that Mars possesses large amount of gas, and NASA's Phoenix lander also found signs that the planet's Arctic plains were covered with a film of liquid water in the last few million years. These ice caps can be melted and used for human and plant use. And water in the electrolyte process can produce hydrogen and water. This oxygen and hydrogen can be used for the human need and fuel respectively. And this electrolyte process, splitting of water creates more oxygen. I mean, like 25 times more oxygen than the MOXIE used in Perseverance. But the trip to poles will not be feasible unless the base is near the poles. And we are better off finding water in the underground. And Mars has very fine dust particles, and it takes very good filters to filter out the particles that pollute the habitat environment. These devices will suck the air in and purify and remove the toxins from Mars, humans, bacteria, experiments, etc., and dehumidify it and direct the water to a water purification tank or a storage tank. And we should be able to separate different types of gas like argon, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, etc., and send each gas to each holding tank, and which will have an overflow to vent the excess gas into Mars atmosphere if the tank for that particular gas got full. Then comes temperature, radiation, pressure modulation in the habitat. NASA's rover uses a technology known as Webb, also known as warm electronic box. Mars rovers cannot work on extreme hot or cold condition. In order to survive, the rover must not exceed temperature of minus 40 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius, which is somewhat equal to human surveying condition, except for the part of negative degrees Celsius. And in this technology, in this warm electronic box technology, the heaters are packed inside the rover like a warm pot. And we can use the same technology for our Mars habitat by scaling up for the human habitat. And painting Mars habitat in gold will prevent heat escaping and can be helpful in keeping the temperature high during a cold temperature. And we should also build a inbuilt heat rejection technology in case the habitat will get excessive heating. And aerogel. Aerogel is a synthetic porous material which is helpful for habitat creation. For example, silica aerogel, which is the most common type of aerogel, is a good insulator and poor conductor of heat. It can be used for habitat building and can be used for heat insulation. And insulation will cut out the energy expenditure. Energy can be very much valuable on the Mars, and insulation will cut out the energy expenditure on the temperature modulation. Okay, we can filter out the radiation using thick and absorbing glass for biodomes. The correct type of glass can be used, and we can filter out the radiation. And it has a downside that the window size should be probably very limited. And we can also filter out the by running water around the dome, which will absorb the radiation. And the very easiest thing to do is to just leave in the underground. Means that you can use the Martian soil itself as a radiation shield. And this pressure modulation is pretty easy to solve. The hardest part that was developing the airlock that rapidly depressurize and repressurize. The ISS airlock does this very slowly. And we could, in theory, use ISS airlock, but we need to use it to modify it to include an air purification so that Mars does not contaminate our habitat atmosphere. Then the transportation on Mars. Transportation between different colonies can done through underground passages connecting each colonies. There will be transportation on the surface with the specially designed Mars rovers and pressurized suit. Transportation of people through air can be difficult to achieve. This is because the atmosphere is very less and we need more power to take off and land. And the Mars rover we propose should be able to travel to long distance for exploring Mars and finding new materials. And it should protect the passengers from Martian winds and micrometeoroids. This could be equipped with communication device that could be made capable to traveling different unexplored areas and for both mapping and resource collection. There should be large container transportation through Mars rovers for purposes like mining and creating new colonies and transporting different materials to different sites. And then comes the waste management. Waste management is a very much necessity for Mars colonies. There should be a centralized system for waste management and trash collection. And we can use high pressurized tubes which can be used for collecting and disposing the waste material. And the first point is for recycling water. ISS uses a complex system known as ECLSS, or Environmental Control and Life Support System. And it has a water recovery system that consists of a urine processor and assembly and a urine processor assembly and a water processor assembly. Urine is collected from the Mars people and animals if present and subjected to low pressure to speed up the evaporation processes of the water. And getting water in the Mars sample can be really expensive, and we have to use either groundwater or the water on the poles, which can be really expensive and resource saving. So saving water is very much needed. We can also create Earth-like water waste management systems on the planet of on the surface of Mars, and can be used to treat wastewater and other waste. We should at least try to mimic Earth's water system, water cycle inside the Mars habitat for the maximum efficiency of water saving. Then comes trash. The technology heat melt compactor is developed to evaporate water from the trash before compacting it. And the habitants can process small pieces of trash in a high temperature reactor, and it will break that waste into water, oxygen, or other gases, and which the crew can either use or vent as needed. And the remainder of the waste is greatly reduced in size and which is no longer biologically active. Then comes human waste. Human waste are very much needed to dispose on safely on Mars. It can be used as a fertilizer for Mars and agriculture after the necessary treatment. For example, a bioreactor could break down human waste into salts and methane gas. And methane gas, after processing, can be used to fuel the growth of protein-rich bacteria, which will be very helpful in the Mars habitat. And we should convert the trash into a treasure in an environment with the challenging conditions. And then comes living in microgravity. Unfortunately, there is no current technology that could simulate current gravity on Mars. We can either use temporary solution like in the orbit by rotating the spaceship. And we could also try to create a rotating structure in Mars by digging large wells on Mars surface and using the centrifugal force and stimulating the Earth's gravity. But creating this structure will take up high energy and time, and it will not be feasible. And learning to live microgravity is the only feasible solution here. So communication system. We technically achieved this already. This is we communicate every day back and forth with different rovers on Mars. Internal communication system can be run by optical wires to nearby colonies. And for faraway colonies and exploration missions on Mars, satellite communication will be a very great and reliable source. And internet connectivity and TV connection can be developed using satellite technology, and it will be dependent on Earth until Mars will be self-reliant and can host its own data and servers on Mars surface. Communication to Earth is already there, and it is only there is some delay, and it will be suffice for a colonist. And as soon as the Mars become self-sustained, the communication to Earth become not a necessity. Then comes terraforming. Terraforming is a solution for permanent habitat creation. It is an hypothetical solution for converting the entire Mars into permanent living conditions. It can be. It is thought that Mars are in an early Earth-like condition and it could create once again by terraforming. It can be proposed. It is proposed in very many ways, and using large-scale microbes and with the necessary product for its growth is one method. And heating the Mars surface and ice cap to create an atmosphere is also proposed. It can be achieved using high-powered laser, and it can use to evaporate polar ice caps. There are also some extreme conditions like warming the planet Mars to release the carbon dioxide in solid form to atmosphere, and it will help in creating the atmosphere for Mars. It's kind of like global warming the planet Mars. And importing ammonia to Mars is also a potential method of terraforming. Ammonia is not stable on Mars surface, and it will convert to nitrogen and hydrogen after 3 minutes. This method has to be done long before humans decide to live in Mars to remove potential casualties. And this is our proposed design for a Mars habitat. We actually kind of designed a single habitat for the Mars with our own ideas, and we acquired knowledge throughout this process of creating the project. One of our team members actually drew this. This is our proposed design for a Mars habitat. It has different levels with a different purpose. And a biodome on the surface. Each habitat is connected via tunnels. There will be many habitats, and each will be connected via tunnels. And there will be pipes running in and out of the habitat for the necessary plants outside the habitat, including water and energy systems. And I welcome Anjali to present the next 2 points.
Hi, I am Anjali Sadishan. Hope I am audible. I am going to continue with the topic sources of food, water, and energy in Mars. During the initial stage of Mars colonization, we want to import food and water from the Earth and want to be stored for a long period of time. Astronauts there want to consume food produced on Mars, which are emergency ration. While thinking about creating an ecosystem in Mars, we can start with algae and insects. Algae, which contains all necessary nutrients for human beings, and can also be used for the manufacturing of plastic, concretes, etc. It also converts carbon dioxide to the breathable air. We all know that while talking on production of crops, soil also comes in consideration. According to the studies, the Martian soil has the chemistry to provide nutrients. One of the constraints is that presence of perchlorate may harm human beings while consuming the plants planted there. Energy and pressurized volume would be a constraint. It can be eradicated using the biodomes, which I will tell later. We cannot concentrate on one source for the nutrients. Then we come with spirulina and chlorella, which are nutrient dense and easy to grow. For bulk carb calories, we can go with potatoes and corn. For proteins, eggs by raising chickens. Spinach and kale are very large amount of micronutrients. Vitamin B For vitamin B, we can produce yeast. Carbon dioxide needed for the plants are available on Mars. While talking about fertilizers, dead plants, human and waste, and some of them can be imported from Earth. Food production will be inside artificial lighting and indoor under pressurized conditions similar to Earth, which are called biodomes. We all know, said earlier that the radiation from sun will destroy plants. So we can use thick layer of Mars soil on the top of the biodome, which reduce radiation. Non-edible part of plants can be converted to fertilizers and used to feed algae and can also be used for the production of mushroom. Next, we go with hydroponics. Hydroponics is the way to produce plants without soil. Earlier mentioned that the presence of perchloride will harm the human. It can be reduced by this. By the halfway of colonization, we can bring pets like dog, cat, etc. for the emotional support. Should we care about the emergency ration for them? Next, we can come with water. We can extract water in different ways. First one, which we do in can extract water from the soil. Then it can be recycled from the perspiration of plants, and by combining oxygen with hydrogen, which requires a very large amount of energy, which is not feasible. Next, with wastewater should be recycled. The most convenient way is to recycle the wastewater. Next, we come with energy in Mars. We go with nuclear energy, solar energy, and wind energy. Nuclear energy is considered as the primary source of energy. It only requires a small amount of nuclear material, and it is lightweight and reliable. The main constraint is that it can be damaged by micromaterials and dust winds. It may cause potential environmental issues, and nuclear waste management will also be a constraint. Next, we go with solar energy. It is the second source of energy, but it can only be produced in small scale during the initial stages. Raw materials like silica is available on Mars, so the production of solar panel would be easier. It is scalable and no potential environmental issues will be there. Then it comes with wind energy. It is an alternative source of energy because there will be wind energy only during heavy dust storms. It is not present sometimes, so it is used as alternative source of energy. The rotating machineries will break down due to the dust present in dust storms, and the maintenance will be high. It is not very useful, so it is used as an alternative source of energy. There are other sources of energies which are present in Mars, such as geothermal, hydropower, and thermal power, which are not feasible. Mechanical power is an additional power source which can be used for special bikes and arm cranks. Next, we go with energy storage and management. Energy can be stored in batteries, which the raw materials available in the Mars. First, fuel cell, which can be made with carbon monoxide and oxygen, which is easy to make on Mars because carbon dioxide is plenty on Mars. Then with mechanical cranks for energy generation exercise for colonies. We want to use methane powered fuel cell or generator as a backup source if the primary source is failed. Energy saving is the most efficient method for colonies until it becomes self-sustained in energy. Next, we come with distribution of power. Distribution of power can be made in three ways. First one, underground power lines, as we do it in Earth. And the other one, we can use nuclear energy for high energy processes and solar energy for day-to-day need. Hereby, I end my topic. Thank you.